Hi, Joanna.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I'm here with Joanna McBride of Tammin and Rose Architects in Phoenix, Arizona, and Nick Tsontakis of Tsontakis Architects in Scottsdale, Arizona. And they're here on my podcast. I've never met a woman architect before, because we are going to talk about a new venture that is coming up. I'd like to do Joanna's first. Joanna McBride's architecture is an amalgam of an art and technology, and her rare combination of artistic and technical skills blending effortlessly in her work. Before founding Tammin and Rose Architecture, Joanna worked in Chicago for two well-established modern architecture firms. Is that Hollebrand and Root?
Halliburd and Root.
And Root and Nagel Hartray.
Yep.
Hartray. After absorbing what she could from these firms, Joanna moved to Arizona to establish a custom architecture firm specializing in high-end homes, hillside architecture, and commercial tenant improvements. TNR collaborates closely with clients to create spaces that enhance their lifestyles. Named one of the 15 best architects in the Phoenix area by Direct Build and featured in Lux magazine, Joanna has been invited to be a guest juror at various design schools and universities in Chicago and Arizona. She is actively involved in her profession and the design community. Joanna has taught design at Arizona State University and Columbia College, served as chair of AIA CRAN, the American Institute of Architects Custom Residential Architects Network, which is where I met her, in the Phoenix area, and was a member of the AIA CRAN advisory group and has served on the board of the local chapter of the AIA. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
Thank you. Nick Tsontakis attended the McGill University School of Architecture in Montreal, where he graduated with distinction in 1978. He has been principal of Nick Tsontakis Architects in Montreal from 1981 to 2001, and is principal of Tsontakis Architects in Scottsdale, Arizona since 1996. He is also the founder, director, and publisher of Arizona Residential Architects, ARA, and Michigan Residential Architects, MIRA. Nick's mission in life is to bring awareness to the public on the value of design and how it can improve living conditions and benefit the environment. He believes that good design should be available to all people, regardless of budget. His range of work includes small remodels to highly complex, multi-million-dollar projects.
Thanks.
And I loved what you said about from small remodels to like, thousands of square foot projects, because I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's no project that's too small. It's just a matter of if you have the right client and they want the services of an architect, why not?
Yes.
I just finished a front entry canopy to a door that was designed by one of my late friends, Gordy Rogers, here in Arizona. I just couldn't resist it, and I took on the project because of Gordy and his memory. And the clients knew that I was friends with him and asked me if I would do it. I said, sure, why not? I enjoy design, no matter what the scale of it is.
Yes, and it's so important. Yeah. So Joanna's been a guest on by herself before and answered the 4 questions, and Nick will be a guest by himself on a future one. But today we're going to talk about a project that Nick started many years ago, Arizona Residential Architects Publication. And Joanna has now started the new venture with him, the Arizona Women in Architecture, AWA publication.
That's right. So did you want me to give you a little background on ARA?
Yeah. If you could give a brief history of the Arizona Residential Architects, or ARA, and Joanna, you can chime in about how you came up with this new venture, and briefly describe the organization and the publication and events.
Basically, back in 2010, during the recession, I had the idea of starting a publication because coming here in Arizona in 1995 from Montreal, the only way I was able to get my message across was to do direct mailing to the general public. And it led to creating my own publications. And then after the recession, nothing was happening. So I realized that why don't I get my colleagues together, people that were in the same range of architecture and residential architecture, and create a publication, since I already had done that in the past. And I made a list of 16 firms, went to see them each individually in alphabetical order, and all of them came on board. And within 2 months, ARA, Arizona Residential Architects, started in 2010. We're basically a networking group with a magazine. And what we do is we create this publication. The architects show their work unfiltered. And we have industry partners such as builders, interior designers, tradespeople, banks, realtors, and so on, take out full page ads in the publication. So that helps us finance the printing and publishing of the magazine. This in turn goes out to 27,000 people twice a year in the metropolitan Phoenix area. And it basically educates the public on what architects can do and how important design is, and who are the people in the design and construction community that are working on the projects that you see in the magazines. Basically, for that, the industry partners, as we call them, we offer them networking events every 2 months, so 3 events per 6 months, or 3 per each magazine, 6 events a year, where we get together and basically get to meet each other in person and spend 3 hours and talk and familiarize ourselves with everybody, and then continue. So this has been going on since 2010. Back in 5 years ago, I was talking on a podcast about ARA and how it began and what it's been doing in the Arizona community. And I got a call from Michigan, and the person asked me, can we do something like that in Michigan? I said, well, yeah, get me the top 16 firms together and I'll come and give you a presentation. And they did. And then within 6 months, MIRA, M-I-R-A, or Michigan Residential Architects, started. So we just completed our 5th year with MIRA, 5th anniversary edition. And this fall will be ARA's 15th anniversary edition. Which leads us, I have also published other magazines with commercial architecture, with interior designers, and so on during that time. And I wanted to do something with CRAN with Joanna, and this led to the new publication called AWA, Arizona Women in Architecture. Joanna?
Yeah, so back in March, Michelle Hoddle had come to me she wanted to put together an exhibit of women architects in Arizona to coincide with the Women in Right lecture that Jen Gray was giving at Taliesin West. So we approached Taliesin with the idea, and they were enthusiastic, but we only had about 3 weeks to get the boards together. So we asked 12 women, and 6 of the 12 were able to finish their boards by the date of the lecture. And so during the lecture, the boards were on display while Jen gave her lecture, and then they remain on display at Taliesin in the studio. And so then I started thinking, well, what if I brought this idea over to Nick, because we were trying to get something together with CRAN, but that didn't work out. So I thought, well, what about this idea? Because part of it was that we really felt like, Michelle and I felt that women were very underrepresented in architecture, and this would be a good way to get some exposure. So then went to Nick, and we were both right on the same page because we were talking about this with CRAN. And then so we got to work, and we assembled a list of both residential and commercial women architects. And then Nick took us all to lunch, whoever could make it. And we talked about what this publication would mean and how it could benefit all of us. And so that's how it all got started.
And so what type of work will be in this new group?
commercial, residential?
Yeah, both. We're different from the ARA. This publication is all the different types of work that women do in the Valley. So we are featuring both residential and commercial women in this publication.
As well, they will be able to write anything, any editorial they want, or any contents without filters. So everyone has to have a minimum of 4 pages, and it could be anything they want. Could be sketches, could be work, could be editorials, you name it. It's an opportunity for architects to be able to express themselves without having to go through editors and different publications and politics and any. It's just whatever you want to say, just say it. We'll publish it. And that's what ARA is like. We didn't want to be at the behest of all of these editors and not fitting in one type of category or another. We just wanted to be free to express ourselves and just let it out there and send it to the general public. And it's really worked very well here in Arizona and in Michigan. So I'm very optimistic that the AWA is going to be quite popular as well.
And I really liked what you said in the video also about how, oh my goodness, we have like all these architects together and everybody gets along. And I mean, of course, like, we get along in school, we get along in school really well. And then it's only like when we go out into the profession, maybe sometimes there's some competitiveness, but some competitiveness is good. And I mean, I think we can all boost ourselves. And I think that we all go beyond kind of like what these like categories that maybe a magazine puts you in sometimes.
Exactly. And your colleagues are people that go through they understand what you're going through. And it's so important to be able to communicate with them. We have a very open communication between the ARA architects and the Mira architects. If anybody has an issue or they ask questions about something or information, they get instantly 5 or 6 responses. So it's very important for us to be aware of what's going on, to be careful about certain things or certain companies that are not performing properly. And we need this also to be aware that if there's going to be a recession coming, the realtors are not going to have any work. And then 6 months later, the architects won't have work. 6 months after that, the interior designers won't have any work. And 6 months after that, the builders will have no work. When the last recession happened, we're so busy and all of a sudden everything got shut down in 2008 in October, November, and no one knew what was going on. And that really shocked me. And I don't want to be in that situation ever again, where you're so busy to go out and find out what's going on, to talk with people, and all of a sudden everything shuts down. So right now it's an early detection system also, early warning system for what's going on in the market.
So how many editions are there per year and when are they published?
There are 2 editions per year. There's a spring edition and a fall edition. Basically, the spring edition will be in May and the fall edition in November. And along with that, with each launch of magazine, there will be one networking event where the industry partners one of them will host the event, and all of the AWA architects and industry partners can get together that night and meet.
And Joanna, where do the architects who are in the publication work? What areas of Arizona?
We're pretty much all over Arizona. We invited women that work in Tucson. We invited women who work in Sedona. We, obviously Phoenix and Scottsdale area. So we're open. The goal of this publication is to be inclusive and to really highlight the work of women. So there aren't a lot of restrictions. I think the only thing that where we would halt is like we just want the women to have a body of work. So maybe not someone just coming out of school who's doesn't have a body of work to display, but other than that, our goal is to be inclusive. And then that doesn't mean that those women, once they have a body of work, they may come on board too.
And can they come to the events maybe? I mean, I guess, like you had mentioned, industry events as being part of the group's plan to engage members, but can non-members attend the events
also, or?
The events are open to the industry partners and to the
Okay.
architects that are featured in the magazine. But if you want to bring a guest, for example, another architect to come and see what it's like in the networking events, or the group, or an industry partner that hasn't joined up yet, they'll just have to let us know, and we can make provisions for that. But generally, the networking events are for the people that support the magazine, but doesn't mean we're not open to more guests. It's just not open to everyone. We want to know that the industry partners that are supporting the magazine are getting face time with the architects during that event.
Okay. And then where's the publication distributed again?
The publication, first of all, will be distributed to all of the AIA members in Arizona and the affiliates, as well as to the circulation will be up to 10,000 of the highest income homeowners, for example. As well, there will be a mailing list given by the architects who are participating. So whichever company they want, or any individuals, they can receive the publication as long as they just give us the mailing information.
And then what about the industry partners? What are industry partners?
Industry partners are people that are generally in the design and construction industry. They're general contractors, interior designers, tradespeople, they're bankers, they're realtors. And when I talk about tradespeople, we're talking about window companies, home automation, you name it, the cabinet companies. We have all types of industry partners that are all involved in what architects do. And
and just a side note. So when I was approaching industry partners, one of the industry partners I approached already advertises in the ARA publication, and she was enthusiastic about being an industry partner in the AWA. So I think that it's going to be beneficial to them, even if they're already part of the ARA, that they would want to be a part of this too.
Yeah, I mean, all of our ARA industry partners will be invited to join this publication, and the ones that I've talked to already, they're on board. So they see that there's a big value in there for them to have, also to support women in architecture, people that they haven't, and firms that they have not met with yet. So industry partners, they really need to have access to architects, and that's why ARA and MIRA are successful. It's because they get to meet us in person, and once you meet someone in person, it's not like giving them a cold call, where architects are so busy they can't just respond to just any company at any time. So this gives an opportunity to them to focus on people that are supporting us through the publications, and to also to get to know them personally. And then all these industry partners, they're responsible to the entire group of architects. So if you get recommended by any of the architects in the publication, you have to do a good job. Otherwise, we'll all know about it. So it's
a lot of responsibility.
So how do people find out more about the events, or how to become an industry partner? And then you also had landscape architects on there too, did you not? Okay. And then engineers, or
sure, engineers.
Okay.
It's so open to anyone in the design construction industry.
Okay.
Pool designers, landscape architects. We have all types of industry partners. I just didn't mention all of them by category because there's just so many.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have digital editions. So if you go on the digital edition, you'll see exactly the publication, and that's sent out to everyone, and you'll be able to see the variety of people that support us.
Yes. Then we also had the then that was kind of like the architects, we love printed paper publications, right? We've got stacks of magazines in our homes and bookshelves filled with
pictures.
We love to take pictures. But there are people that don't want to receive a paper, so they can go onto this. But of course, we encourage people to receive the print version.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. These are Arizona, Michigan, for example. Print is very important. We have, for example, the ARA is in the Arizona State Research Library. So in the future, if anyone wants to find out, get a snapshot of early 21st century residential architecture in Arizona, it's all there for posterity. Same thing will be happening in Michigan, and same thing will be happening with the Arizona Women in Architecture magazine. And it's important that print, first of all, it's a high quality publication. It's a coffee table book. If any of the people on the mailing list do not want it, then I remove them, because there are other people that want the publication. Then we get calls from people that when they move, they want to make sure that we have their new address so that they keep collecting them because they're all numbered and so on. So it's something that, a lot of people think you should advertise only digitally and so on, but then there's nothing like print, because print will lead you to the websites of all these companies, and it works quite well. And then of course the general public, when they get that, they go on the websites of the magazines themselves, and they'll find all the information on the industry partners, and they can link directly to their companies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now for my final question, I know you guys want to hear my final question that I usually give on my podcast. But what would you like to say about the future of architecture in Arizona?
Ron, you want to go first?
Oh, you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Yes.
So in Arizona, we already design for the sun. And when we orient buildings, we think about the angle of the sun and how to provide the best protection from the sun and, everything that entails. But as the temperatures rise year after year, I mean, I can feel it, we will have to come up with more ways to address water collection and cooling loads. We'll have to look into types of insulation and glazing and building products that will handle our extreme temperatures. And I think that's where I think architecture in Arizona is headed, basically just because of our extreme climate and the rising temperatures that have been continuing to rise every year.
As for me, I mean, I came from Montreal, which is a very cold climate, and the design of buildings there was totally different. Everything was very tight because of the cold and so on. And then I came here to Arizona, and everything is like spread out all over the place. And I like that, because here we're designing with topography, orientation, the views, and so on. We don't have the restrictions of snow loading, earthquakes. So it's the easiest place to design and the freest place to design a building for me is Arizona, because you don't have those considerations. So you're totally free to express yourself as an architect. Of course, the client has to be willing to let you work with them and produce the final results. But it's a great place to work in because of not having these restrictions. And at the same time, we're also, like Joanna is saying, we're very conscious of the energy efficiency of homes. Everything that we do is passive in terms of like energy and creating shading and so on. So it makes things a lot more interesting, because we also have a severe climate that we have to protect against, even though we don't have the restrictions in other ways. I just love working here, period. There's no place like it.
Agree.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say about AWA or architecture?
Well, first of all, I don't think the public knows what they're going to be getting and how surprised they're going to be to see the work of women architects in this state. Really, they're underrepresented. I don't know where you can go to find their work. This is going to come to your home directly. It's going to come right into your face. Okay, so you're going to get familiar. I have to say one thing. When I go out, people recognize me from the publication. I don't even pay to advertise. They just know who I am, and I mean, it's a great feeling. So they know that you're doing something, and they follow you in the magazine and so on. And sometimes you may get a client many years later. We're around for 15 years. I get people calling me, said, well, we've been following your work for the last 10 years. Well, you know what? Same thing will happen with all the firms in the new publication. And they should know, because first of all, most of the there are mostly women in architecture schools today, and why are there mostly men that are running these firms? These things are going to be changing, so people have to get acquainted with the fact that architecture is not only about what men do. Everybody can do architecture. It's not a gender specific. So that's what I have to say.
I've been having a lot of fun working with Nick just this past month on this project. We've been having fun, just communicating, getting ideas back and forth. And so I'm super excited about this. And I know a lot of the women that want to be a part of this publication, and I know their work, and it's amazing. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm excited. I mean, I'm hoping to, I want to get those industry partners and get in that publication also. So
I already see the finished product. I can see it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Okay. Let's wait till November. You'll get excited too.
I'm excited just looking. I mean, really, I was excited just like paging through even the digital one, and because I don't have I'm gonna look for the print one now, but I was excited just looking through, just looking through the digital version. So I'm excited about the printers. So then that first edition,
architects need to express themselves with no filters, period. That's what I wanted, and that's why I went into publishing my own stuff. I didn't want to be at the mercy of anybody's not criticizing the work, just not showing or not exposing it, or keeping it aside. It happened to me. It took me 8 years in Arizona to finally get something that I thought I could publish. And everybody here was doing Tuscan architecture, and this contemporary home did not fit into their template. It was not fair. So let the public decide what architecture they like.
Yes, agree.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on I've Never Met a Woman Architect Before podcast. And I look forward to this next venture with all of you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Pleasure.